In the headlines, Prime Minister Abiy unveils the Clean Ethiopia initiative. And Ethiopia's MRO achievements applauded. Hello and welcome to EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. With the news for the hour, I am Magdalena Seyum. And now moving on. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed unveiled plans to construct modern, clean and dignified public restrooms with a strong emphasis on community involvement in their construction. According to the Office of the Prime Minister, the new initiative, dubbed as Clean Ethiopia, includes a fundraising component under the theme Clean Cities, Healthy Lives. In a social media post published, the Prime Minister called on all Ethiopians to contribute their share in creating cities that are conducive for everyone. As embarking on this new initiative, he called upon all Ethiopians to contribute their share in creating cities that are conducive for everyone. Meanwhile, the PM Office Press Secretary Bilene Siyum said in a post on X that the new initiative aims at building modern, clean and accessible public toilets, promoting dignified toilet usage and hygiene awareness, and advocating for better hygiene practices and public health. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has welcomed Mark Sussman, CEO of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and his teammates. BMGF's vital support in agriculture, health, nutrition, inclusive financial system, and other areas is invaluable to Ethiopia's development. The Premier, on his X tweet, went on saying that he is looking forward to strengthening partnerships ahead in other areas of cooperation. State Minister of Finance and Economic Cooperation Samartha Sawaso discussed with the delegation led by Simon Mustard's UK Foreign Commonwealth Development Office FCDO Director for Africa. The discussion between the two parties focused on mutual interests at bilateral, regional and international levels. They discussed assistance, humanitarian space and basic service delivery in Ethiopia. The director pointed out that the FCDO has substantially raised the volume of assistance and would like to work in collaboration with the Ethiopian government to ensure efficient and smooth delivery of assistance to people in need.
Transportation within Italy. Once you get to Italy,
loved the grilled cheese. It was delicious.
Chairman of the Fairfax African Fund Global says the success of Ethiopian Airlines is evident not only in its passenger service but also in its maintenance, repair and overhaul MRO operations. The chair, Zodina Nagatu, also emphasized that the airline is gaining recognitions and other airlines are sending their aircraft to be maintained here. Goshu Maliso has more from the Ethiopian News Agency.
Ethiopian Airlines Group, the largest airline group in Africa and a member of the Star Alliance, is reputable for providing safe and reliable passenger services. The airline is investing in cutting-edge facilities and skilled personnel to offer comprehensive maintenance solutions. Now the airline is making strides to become a maintenance hub for aircraft, expanding its services beyond passenger flights. Fairfax Africa Fund Global Chairman Zamadine Nagatu lauded Ethiopian Airlines' success in passenger services and maintenance, repair and overhaul operations.
Ethiopian Airlines has a very large MRO shop. In fact, it's one of the biggest in the world. It's one of the best in the world. They maintain aircraft, like very modern aircraft like the 777, the 787, the 737s, all kinds of aircraft. So it's a very well-known organization for maintaining aircraft, not only for itself, but for third parties. Ethiopian Airlines is by far the biggest airline in Africa and one of the largest in the world. Its success is not only predicated on its ability to transport passengers from around the world, but also its ability to maintain these very sophisticated, these very expensive aircraft.
The Ethiopian airline is becoming well known and many other countries are sending their aircrafts to be maintained here.
An African carrier these days, or it used to be that they will have to send their aircraft to Europe, or in some cases all the way to the United States to repair their aircrafts, to maintain their aircraft at very expensive rates. Whereas Ethiopian Airlines is certified by all the manufacturers. It's a high-end performance shop, and it's right here in Africa. So neighboring countries, for example, they don't have to send their aircraft all far away. They can make it. So Ethiopian Airlines' success, as I said, not only on the passenger side, but on the maintenance side, also helps. If you go to the airport here, the MRO shop, you'll see aircrafts from many African countries, right here, from Nigeria, from Rwanda, from everywhere. That means these airlines in Africa, the Pan-Africanism that we talk about is being demonstrated clearly through the active support of Ethiopian Airlines for other African carriers. So I think it's a testament, as I said, to what happens when you invest, when you have a vision, when you have the determination and the capacity to deliver of what used to be considered stuff to be done in Europe, stuff to be done in America, is done in Africa, right here in Ethiopia.
African carriers used to send their planes to Europe or even the United States for expensive repairs. Ethiopian Airlines, certified by all manufacturers, is based in Africa and is providing maintenance service at an affordable price, he told Ethiopian News Agency.
Approached by ABC World, international broadcast journalist John Patrick stated that the correct such biased reports on Africa and to show the true image of the continent, Africa needs to take back its media sovereignty. Patrick also stated all about challenges and opportunities of broadcast journalism in the midst of booming technology. Jerusalem Batsaha has more.
Currently, international broadcast journalism faces many challenges in propagating and disseminating information. Now it's very difficult to identify if the news and disseminating information are correct, real or not. An international broadcast journalist, Patrick, said journalists should be critically checking and analyzing their sources.
Now companies are now at a crossroads, like I said, of seeing if things are actually real. So it's a very dangerous time, but it's also on the flip side of that, it's a very enterprising time because now other ways of not just traditional media are at the forefront of gathering information. So things framing and disseminating information and deepfakes are very prevalent at this time. So it's very, you have to kind of have a more stern eye of finding information and disseminating correct information, makes you checking your sources and going back on the principles of journalism, which are facts, sourcing, critical analyzation, and all those different.
But the mainstream media outlets are grappling with the matters of fake, misinformation and disinformation. Due to the booming technology, Patrick said journalists have always at the advent of it to cope up with these challenges.
As journalists have to always, okay, this is something that came up. We have to check if this article is actually human written, if it's from a real source, like I said. So companies every day are on the treadmill, having to keep up all the time, because these technologies are continuously advancing, continuously changing, and can be posed as a threat to what we do. You know, specifically because there are less jobs, there's more automation. So we always have to be at the advent of it.
The Western countries use their media to reflect their interests and instill ideas through them. Therefore, enabling Africa to own its organ would help to depict the true image of Africa, which has been portrayed negatively by these bodies, Patrick said.
I think us as Africans, we need to take back our media sovereignty. So it's very important. If you notice, all the quote-unquote first world nations and great nations, part of their rise and ascension in the mainstream world and their positioning in the world was through media. The third estate is very important in narrative framing, as you said. It's our rights, if we want to be on the forefront of where we deserve to be as Africans, to build a media, to regain our media sovereignty, to make our own narrative.
Recall that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, in his statement at the 36th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union, called upon African heads of states and government to tackle Africa's typically negative portrayal by the global media.
Thank you for tuning in to EBC World. Before I go, recap of the top stories once again. Prime Minister Abiy unveils the Clean Ethiopia initiative. And Ethiopia's MRO achievements applauded. That's all we have for today's update. That was me, Magdalena Siyum, with the news for the hour. Goodbye.